There are loads of racing games out there, but right now we've got a lot of groups that want their own specialized driving games, not just cars, but motorcycles and even 18-wheelers. On PC, American Truck Simulator fit that last group and made a pretty competent 18-wheeler simulation game. Even home consoles recently got a truck sim in the form of Truck Driver for PS4 and Xbox One. But when it comes to handhelds, there really isn't anything available. At least there wasn't until a few days ago when a mobile truck driving sim appeared on the Nintendo Switch eShop. I immediately got a request to review the game, and honestly, I really love ATS on PC, so I was gonna buy and play it anyways. Here is my review of Truck Simulator USA for the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to gameplay, this is an open world truck simulation game. As you go through the game, you'll be picking up and delivering loads of product to various cities across the USA, along with a few in Mexico and Canada. Since this was originally a mobile game, let's talk about the differences between it on mobile and on the Switch. On the bright side, the mobile version was littered with advertisements, pop-ups, and microtransactions for its two currencies. All of these have been completely removed from the Switch release. You get plenty of currency for making deliveries, so there's really no need for the microtransactions that have been removed. But on the downside, the Switch version is missing some things. All of the trucks and new locations that have been added to mobile since release are here in the Switch version, but a lot of gameplay features like hazard lights, first-person mode, and the CB radio options are missing, along with the entire multiplayer mode. The biggest problem with these being missing is that once again, the eShop advertises something that's not there. Here's the description on the eShop page, which specifically mentions multiplayer mode, tilt steering, and rain weather conditions, which are all not in the Switch version of the game. In terms of gameplay progression, this is very similar to American Truck Simulator. You get your first truck, pick the city you want to start in, and have free roam around the huge open world map. Your task is to find warehouses and take on jobs, picking up trailers and delivering them to other cities to make money. Upon making a successful delivery, you make two different kinds of money: normal cash and gold coins, the premium currency from the mobile version. While you get pretty much the same amount of gold coins no matter what kind of load you do, you get a lot more of the regular cash when you do the longer runs. Once you amass a lot of this money, you can use it to buy new trucks as well as upgrades, ranging from performance enhancements like engine upgrades to more visual or cosmetic changes like adding in a bull bar or putting on a new livery. But let's get away from that and talk about the driving and simulation elements. Picking up and dropping off loads is very similar to ATS, where once you have a load, you back up to the trailer to attach, and you can also pull in and back up the trailer to deliver it. And for those not so good at backing up for deliveries, there's also an auto park feature that cuts a little bit of your payment but parks for you. But the actual drive you do from point A to point B is where most of the sim aspects really start to show themselves. You got fuel, vehicle damage, and fatigue gauges to worry about while you're driving. Most of these won't completely stop you if they run out, but becoming fatigued will darken a lot of your screen, and running down damage will severely limit your vehicle's acceleration. To help with these, there are truck stops and other locations you can stop at to repair your vehicle, refuel, and sleep overnight. To add more to the simulation aspect, you've also got traffic violations to worry about. If you run red lights, go above the speed limit around the speed traps, or skip way stations, you'll receive fines. While some of these aren't really that much compared to what you get back when delivering, skipping a way station gives you a pretty hefty fine of $1,500. The driving feels pretty decent overall. The trucks are relatively slow and feel very different between bobtailing and having a trailer behind them. The trucks do feel a little too similar to one another, but overall it's pretty decent. The bigger oddity of driving is the terrain. There's a lot of different kinds of terrain when you go off-roading, but when you actually go onto that terrain, it doesn't grip any different than the asphalt does. When this all comes together, really all you're doing is doing loads to build up money and buy new trucks to do upgrades and do more loads. But overall, it's not a bad time waster. Of all the loads that it took me to purchase the two trucks that I really wanted, the K100 Cabover and the 2018 Cascadia, I ended up spending around 8 hours. That alone is plenty of content for the price, and I plan on going back to it to start buying some of the other trucks. Now let's talk about controls for a moment to talk about something that's very difficult to do in docked mode. This game has button controls for almost everything, but it also has a lot of touch gestures for all of the menus. When you're at a warehouse and choosing jobs, there is a huge list, but the only way to scroll through the entire list is with the slide gesture on the touchscreen. Using the arrow buttons will allow you to scroll through all of the jobs on the list, but you won't be able to visually see them. Once you get past about 4, 5, or 6, you'll be scrolling through stuff that you can't actually see. Now let's get into presentation. Graphically, the game looks okay. The trucks look alright, and it's cool to see all of the lights coming on and the details of the interior, but the rest of the game looks pretty rough. The textures of all the environments is pretty poor in quality, and the game's draw distance is very lacking. When it comes to performance, there are a few problems as well. The frame rate gets pretty choppy, specifically in cab view, and the game crashes pretty often when you're navigating menus. The game is also pretty glitchy, letting you easily get stuck to gates and fences, and when this happens, the game tends to freak out, throwing your truck like a ragdoll in some pretty crazy maneuvers. While this is glitchy, I found a lot of these situations far more entertaining than frustrating, like having a simple truck washer flinging a K100 halfway down the street dozens of feet in the air. Now let's get into something a little more positive with battery life. On the original model, Truck Sim USA has a battery range of 4 hours and 9 minutes up to 5 hours and 14 minutes. On the Nintendo Switch Lite, it has a range of 4 hours and 12 minutes up to 5 hours and 58 minutes. And on the V2 or Redbox model, it has a range of 4 hours and 58 minutes up to 7 hours and 9 minutes. Now in conclusion, handheld fans finally have a truck simulator that tries to do what ATS did on PC. On the downside, it does have quite a few problems, from all of the presentation and performance issues to the more physics aspects like terrain not gripping the same between snow, dirt, and asphalt. But despite its problems, it's a fun little trucking game with glitches that feel more entertaining than frustrating. Reviews to Go rates Truck Simulator USA for the Nintendo Switch a 5.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.